everyone, on today's video I'm going to show you how to make this really cute tote bag. It's a very easy project and also a really useful one. So without further ado, let me tell you guys the materials you need to make this bag. So to make this project, you're going to need 100% cotton yarn. The yarn I'm using is by Loops and Threads, and you're going to need a total of 230 grams of yarn. With that, you're going to need a 5mm hook, a couple of stitch markers, and a darning needle to weave in your ends, and that's pretty much all you need. So we can now get started with the tutorial. To start, we're gonna make a slip knot. So to do that, I take my yarn and I roll it on my two fingers like this, making an X shape. Then I grab my hook and pass it underneath here and grab the yarn over here. Turn my fingers and take them off and pull. Then I pull again to adjust it to my hook. To make this bag, we're gonna have to chain 56. So to chain, you have to yarn over your hook and pull through. This is one chain. The loop on your hook does not count as a chain. Yarn over, pull through. This is 2 chains. Yarn over, pull through 3. So on and so forth until you have 56 chains on your hook. Alright, so here I'm done making all of my chains. We're now going to start crocheting. To do that, we're going to crochet in the back bars of the chains. So here's the front of your chain. You're going to have to turn it around and you're going to see that there's little bumps and we're going to crochet in those. So what we're going to do is skip the first back bar over here and insert our hook in the second one. So skip this, insert your hook in the second back bar like this. You're going to yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2 to make a single crochet. And we're going to do that all across our chains. So insert your hook in the next back bar like this, yarn over, pull through 2 to make a single crochet. Next back bar, insert your hook, single crochet like this. So go ahead and make single crochets all across your back bars. Alright, so here I'm almost done with all of my single crochets. I have one last single crochet to make here at the end. And here I'm done with row 1. Now to start row 2, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. We're now going to skip the chain we just made and insert our hook in the first stitch of the row and make a single crochet. Now we're going to go over to the next stitch, make a single crochet. Next stitch, single crochet. And we're going to do that all across the second row. So go ahead and make single crochets in every stitch. Alright, so here I'm almost done with my second row. I have one last single crochet to make. And here I'm done with my row 2. So now we're going to do 2 more rows like this to have a total of 4 rows of single crochets. So to start row 3 again, you have to chain 1, turn your work, skip the chain you just made, and insert your hook in the first stitch of the row. So go ahead and make 2 more rows of single crochets and I'll see you guys when I'm done doing that. And also I forgot to mention, but you should have 55 stitches in every row. Alright, so here I'm done making my 4 rows of single crochets. The next step is to take a stitch marker and place it in the last stitch you just made like this, and then we're going to chain 1. So once we're done making these 4 rows, we're going to start crocheting in rounds. So we're going to crochet all around this base. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to crochet in this side over here and we're going to make 3 single crochets. So if you pull on your work a little bit, you're going to see that there are 3 little holes on this side like this. So there's one here, and there's one in here. So we're going to make 1 single crochet in each of these holes. So my first hole is here. If you're unable to see your holes, you just have to like stretch it out a little bit and they're going to appear. So here I've made my first single crochet. Take another stitch marker and place it on that first stitch like this. Now we're going to go over to the next hole, which is right in here. Make a single crochet. And now we're going to do another single crochet in the next hole. Alright, so once that's done, we're going to start making single crochets all across this side over here. To do that, we're going to insert our hook in these stitches. So go to the first stitch here, insert your hook, make a single crochet. Go on to the next stitch here, make a single crochet, so on and so forth until you reach the other corner. Alright, so here I crocheted all the way through the other corner, and so here when we started we made 3 single crochets. Now you're supposed to have made 55 single crochets. Now we're going to do another 3 single crochets here and another 55 single crochets through this side. To make your single crochets here, it's going to be the same thing as the other side. So we're going to pull on the yarn a little bit, and the holes you should insert your hook in are this one, and this one, not the one over here. So again, we're first going to insert our hook in this hole here and make our single crochet. Next, we're going to insert our hook in this second hole over here, 2, and the third one over here, 3. Once those 3 single crochets are done, we're going to go back and make 55 single crochets on this side, and these are pretty easy. Again, we just have to insert our hook through these stitches. So here's my first stitch. I'm going to insert my hook and make a single crochet. Insert my hook in the next stitch, so on and so forth until we reach our stitch marker from the beginning over here. Alright, so here I have one last single crochet to make before I'm done with my first round. So I'm going to take off my stitch marker, make one last single crochet in that stitch. I'm going to take back my stitch marker and put it back where it was, like this. And now to finish this round, we're going to slip stitch in the first stitch of the row. So insert your hook where your stitch marker is, like this. Yarn over, pull through, and pull through again to make a slip stitch. So here we're done with our first round. To start round 2, we're going to chain 1. And now we're going to do something a little different, which is turning our work every round. And by doing that, the seam is not going to be crooked, it's going to be completely straight. So doing this really makes your work look a lot better, in my opinion. So once you've chained 1, what you're going to do is turn your work. So notice I have my blue stitch marker towards my left hand, and I have my purple stitch marker towards my right hand. So now I'm going to turn my work. And so now, because I've turned my work, I have my blue stitch marker facing my right hand and my purple stitch marker towards my left hand. Now what we're going to do is skip the chain we just made and skip the slip stitch we just made and insert our hook in the first stitch of the row. So we're going to take off the stitch marker from this stitch. We're going to skip, as I said, the chain and the slip stitch and insert our hook in the first stitch of the row and make a single crochet. Now take back your stitch marker and put it back in the first stitch of the round. And now we're going to make single crochets all around. So don't forget to put your stitch markers and also to skip the chain and the slip stitch, because if you crochet in that, you're going to mess up the stitch count. Alright, so once that's done, we're going to go over the next stitch, make a single crochet. Go on to the next stitch, single crochet, so on and so forth until you reach your next stitch marker over here. Alright, so here I'm almost done with my second round. I have one last single crochet to make. So I'm going to take off my stitch marker, make my last single crochet. I'm going to put back my stitch marker and make a slip stitch in my first stitch. So insert your hook in the first stitch, yarn over, pull through, and pull through again to make your slip stitch. And now we're done with round 2. To start round 3, again, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. So here I have my purple stitch marker facing my left hand, and I have my blue stitch marker facing my right hand. So I'm going to turn my work. Now I have my purple stitch marker facing my right hand and my blue stitch marker facing my left hand. So we're going to skip the chain we just made and the slip stitch and insert our hook in the first stitch of the round. So take off your stitch marker, skip the chain, skip the slip stitch, and insert your hook in the first stitch and make your single crochet. Take your stitch marker and place it back in your first stitch. And now again, just make single crochets all around your bag until you reach your last stitch marker here. So just continue making single crochets all around. Right, so here I'm almost done with my round, so I'm going to make my last single crochet here. I'm going to take off my stitch marker, make my single crochet, put back my stitch marker, insert my hook in the first stitch of the round and make a slip stitch like this. So we're now done with round 3. To start round 4, again you chain 1 and then you turn your work. You skip the chain you just made and skip the slip stitch you just made. Take off your stitch marker, insert your hook in the first stitch and make a single crochet. Put back your stitch marker and make single crochets all around your bag. Alright, so go ahead and finish this round, and at the end of this round I'm going to show you how to change colors if you ever want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and make all of my single crochets and I'll see you guys when I reach the end. Alright, so here I have one last stitch to make, so I'm going to show you guys how to change colors. So I'm going to remove my stitch marker. I'm going to insert my hook in that stitch, yarn over, pull through, and now I'm not going to complete my single crochet because we're going to change colors. So I'm going to grab my new color of yarn and I'm going to pull through the 2 remaining loops with the new color like this. And it's really as easy as that. So now we can use our new color to crochet. So I'm going to put back my stitch marker here in my last stitch. I'm going to slip stitch in my first stitch of the row. Oop. So I'm going to slip stitch, and then I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. So now again we would have to skip the chain and the slip stitch and insert our hook in the first stitch of the row. So I'm just going to take off my stitch marker. So insert your hook in the first stitch of the row and make your single crochet. And here we have our color change, and then to switch back to the original color, it's the exact same thing. So I'm gonna show you guys one last time how to do this. Alright, so here I'm almost done going around with my pink yarn. So to change colors again, I'm going to take off my stitch marker, going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull through. Now I'm not going to complete my single crochet because I'm going to change colors, so I'm going to bring back my pink yarn over here. I'm going to grab back my white yarn and pull through the 2 remaining loops to finish my single crochet. Now once that's done, I'm just going to put back my stitch marker like this. I'm going to slip stitch in my first stitch, and now I'm done with this round and I can continue with my white yarn. So go ahead and repeat these steps over and over again until you have a total of 43 rounds. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and I'll see you guys then. Alright, so here I'm done with all of my 43 rounds. Make sure that you have the right amount of rounds, if not the next step is not going to work. If you wanted to make more or less rounds, you have to have an odd number of rounds. So 43 works, or any other odd number works, but just make sure that you don't have an even number because the next step is not going to work if you have an even number of rounds. Alright, so now that we're done making our full rounds, we're going to start making the straps. Okay, so the next step is going to be to chain 1 and turn your work. So as usual, we're going to skip the chain and the slip stitch and we're going to make 11 single crochets. So remove your stitch marker, insert your hook in that stitch, make a single crochet and put back your stitch marker and make 11 single crochets. So that was 1, so we have 10 more to make, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so here I have my 11 single crochets. Now I'm going to start chaining to make the strap. I'm going to be chaining 70 chains, but if you want, you can totally make more or less chains depending on how long you want your straps to be, but I prefer to chain 70. So just yarn over and pull through. So this is your first chain. What I suggest you to do is put a stitch marker in the back bar of this chain. So take a stitch marker. So this is the front of your chain. If you turn it around, there's a little loop. So put the stitch marker in the loop like this. And this is going to help you know where to crochet in the next round. So this is 1, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 3, so on and so forth until you have 70 chains. Alright, so here I have my 70 chains. As we did at the beginning, we're going to put a stitch marker in our last chain in the back bar, just like this. So put your stitch marker. And now what we're going to do is that we're going to join this to our back. So what you're going to do is that you're going to skip 33 stitches and make a single crochet in the 34th stitch. So I've already counted. I know that this is my 34th stitch. So I'm going to insert my hook in it. I'm going to yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through two to make a single crochet. We're now going to make 25 single crochets. This one counted as one, so we have 24 more single crochets to make. So go ahead and make 24 more single crochets and I'll see you guys then. Alright, so here I have made a total of 25 single crochets. Now what we're going to do is start chaining again. So we're going to chain one and put a stitch marker in the back bar of that chain. Once again, just like this. So again, I'm going to chain a total of 70 chains. So this is one, and I'm going to yarn over, pull through again, yarn over, pull through, until I have my 70 chains. Okay, so here I'm done making my 70 chains. I'm going to put again a stitch marker in the back bar of my last chain. So right over here. Just like this. Once that is done, we're once again going to skip 33 stitches and make a single crochet in the 34th stitch. So I'm going to insert my hook in the 34th stitch and make my single crochet. And now we're going to make single crochets until we reach our stitch marker over here. And the total should be 14 single crochets, and this one counts as one, so we have 13 more to make. Alright, so here I'm done making my 14 single crochets. I'm going to put a stitch marker in my last stitch. We're now going to slip stitch in the first stitch, chain one, and turn our work. So what we're going to do now is make single crochets all across. So we're going to skip these two and make a single crochet in the first stitch of the round. And put back our stitch marker. So we're going to make a total of 14 single crochets. I'm going to go ahead and make my 14 single crochets and I'll see you guys then. Alright, so here I'm done making my 14 single crochets. And now we're going to start crocheting in the chains, but we're actually going to crochet in the back bars. If you prefer to crochet in the back loops, it is a little quicker and easier, so you can go ahead and do that. But I feel like it gives a better result when we crochet in the back bars. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take off my stitch marker where my first back bar is, and I'm going to insert my hook in that, and I'm going to make a single crochet just like this. And you're going to have to do that all across your back bars, and you're going to have to stop when you're going to reach your other stitch marker. If you decide to work on the back bars, you're going to see that they're a little tight, so what I like to do is just insert a needle and just wiggle it like this, and so the back bar becomes a little more loose, so it's easier to insert your hook in the back bar like this, and I make a single crochet. Alright, so go ahead and make single crochets all across your chains, and I'll see you guys when I reach my stitch marker. Alright, so here I'm done making my 70 single crochets in my back bars. Now that that's done, we have to make 25 single crochets. We can simply insert our hook in the next stitch and make a single crochet. And continue making single crochets until you reach your stitch marker. So you have to make a total of 25 single crochets, and this one is included in the stitch count. Alright, so here I made 25 single crochets all across here, and now I have reached my stitch marker. And now we're going to do the exact same thing as the other strap. We're going to make 70 single crochets either in the back bars or in the back loops of the chain. That's totally up to you. So again, I'm going to be making single crochets in the back bars of my chains. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll see you guys when I reach my other stitch marker. Alright, so here I made my 70 single crochets, and now to finish this round we have to make 11 single crochets. So we have to insert our hook in the next stitch here, make a single crochet, so that's one, and continue making single crochets until we reach the stitch marker. Alright, so here I have one last single crochet to make. I'm going to take off my stitch marker, make my last single crochet, put back my stitch marker, and now I'm going to slip stitch in my first stitch. And now we're done with this round. You're now going to have to chain 1 and turn your work. What you're gonna have to do now is make 2 more rounds to make the straps thicker. So it's pretty easy. You're just gonna have to chain 1, turn your work, make single crochets all across the round, and slip stitch, and then repeat that 1 more time. Alright, so here I'm done with my last round. I'm going to slip stitch in my first stitch for a last time. I'm going to chain 1 and pull some yarn, and now I'm going to cut it, and I'm gonna go ahead and weave in all of my ends. Alright, so here I'm done weaving in my ends, so we're officially done with our project. So I really hope you enjoyed crocheting this tote bag. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more crochet tutorials. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.